I'm Anjindra. This is what to play next. You are watching one of the greatest video games of all time. We're in season 2 of The Last Door. If you missed season 1, that's fine. They deliberately did them as standalone episodes, so that you could, Phoenix is really interesting as far as that goes. They're very immersive company, really into the ambiance, and you're going to see that a lot in this game. So we are investigating an asylum. It's set in Europe, and they have a very different take on insanity and drugs than we do. Their drug use in the upper class is perfectly acceptable insofar as no one's allowed to talk about it, and they will have you committed. Yes, you, the peasant, for doing so. Ah, yes, lovely morning. Some might have quite a fascinating character. The family name, especially if it's a good name like in the church, is absolutely, it's just fervently protected. I beg your pardon? The light makes everything look different. You see, light touches things, soaks into them, and changes their nature. It makes them shimmer, it makes them die. We live here in the hospital. So, the short version is somebody's piercing the veil, and we're afraid a bad thing might come through. One of our friends was involved, one of our friends who's also a patient. Again, this is Europe, not quite as weird. Um, and so we're kind of trying to track down the trail. It led to one of his friends, Alexandre Dupre, who was apparently institutionalized here. So we're snooping around the hospital. We live here. I do indeed. My family is a generous benefactor of Eastville. They had me committed, but I don't blame them. They're just incapable of appreciating my art or any art. So sometimes, somebody was just a troubled soul. Sometimes they were artistic. Sometimes they didn't agree with the, head of their family. For that matter, they mistake it for insanity, and if you resist too fiercely, they could have you committed. It wasn't even that strange. We saw that in Alice in Wonderland, and Wizard of Oz, where America kind of touched on that whole European bent. What are you drawing there? I'm not just drawing, my friend. I'm trying to feel the light. Translate its power to the surface of paper. Those animals don't like it, though. They don't want me to succeed, so they just take them away. They take my drawings, and they study them, and they laugh, because my eyes can see the light and there's a blind. But someday everyone will understand. Who are they, the ones who take your art away? Ah, those foolish caretakers, they hide behind a big mirror. They think themselves safe, and they look at me. They observe me, they even take notes. Interestingly enough, these people are so powerful, the families in Europe, and we run into that a little bit. JP Morgan brought over a bunch of money from the Rothschilds. That's just one of them. IG, any of the network executives, they are so powerful that they are actually that dangerous. So they do keep a very tight rein on their families. And 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Which just isn't technically how we handle this in America. Not that it doesn't happen, especially in the older cities. Do you know a man named Alexander Dupre? My name is Dr. Wakefield. I'm looking for a man who lived here some time ago. Will you happen to know one Alexander Dupre? The name does not ring a bell. You've not been here long, though. You should ask the other patients. They may be able to help you. Some have been here for many years. Or you could ask one of the others, the brutes who keep us here. Would you happen to know where your drawings are now? I suspect there's some army archive, since I've seen confiscated items taken there before. Seem different than the rest. Can I trust you? Been trying to sneak in for days now, but Miss Griswold keeps tight guard on the door. I've been stole a key from one of the guards. Here, doctor. Surely please do an entry. If you could recover my drawings, I'd be so grateful. Here, take the key with you. You must go. Have a nice day. So, the downside is it does make it very difficult to distinguish between mostly to the hospital, actual insanity and, just a problem within a household. And those are two completely different things. As recently as the 1900s, even the late 1900s, they were institutionalizing people for things like stress, which is not treated medically due to advances, especially in pharmacology. So there's a whole different bent because Big Pharma got involved. We're kind of hoping she doesn't roll on us, especially in America, on the continent, in Europe. So they just kept going with what they were doing. Good morning, madame. My name is Dr. Wakefield. I'm a psychiatrist. Oh my, good morning. For my manners, I get so excited when we have visitors. We don't get many these days, and certainly we're lacking experts like you. I mean, lack experts. Experts. Every year we get less funding from the Crown. First, the doctors started to leave, then it was the caretakers, now very few remain. We have a responsibility to our poor patients, do we not? We must care for them. They cannot be out living with the proper people. We must keep ourselves safe, and our patients too, of course. Looking for a man who used to be a patient here a few years ago. His name is Alexander Dupre. Chance met him. Alexander Dupre, yes, there was one with a foreign name. I remember something of him. A good man, if I recall correctly. An educated man. There was something strange about him, wasn't there? I believe it scared some of the other patients. You never know with this lot. I'm sorry I can't remember much. There have been so many people here, it's hard to keep track. Have you worked here for long? Yes, a long time. I can scarcely remember how many years. Time goes slowly in here. And the isolation, the rules, don't allow us to leave. We know what is happening in the world anymore. We have our duty, do we not? Who else would care for our patients? May I request access to the institution's archives? There should be some information there about the man I'm looking for, Mr. Dupre. I'm sorry, Doctor, but the archives are private. We must not allow anyone to access them without proper authority. Many of our patients come from good families, you see. We take great care to respect their privacy. Don't look so crestfallen. You will not find much in any case. It's been a long time since they were organized, so they're very disorganized. Sorry, so that the archives are full notes. They actually even use the pedals properly in the piano playing. This is really extraordinarily well done. No picture portraying now painting say with psychiatrists, but also those who suffer neurological disorders and victims of incest. She was killed by her own father, who chopped off her head after she refused to marry him when her mother died. So yeah, the Catholic Church especially, the other branches of the church being less orthodox, the orthodoxies in the Catholic Church are very aware of this, the traditions involved in things like mental health and things like drug use, and much more involved in them than the separation of church and state allows in America, although we are a Christian nation. This must be the recreational wing where patients react and pass the time. Perhaps I can find someone whom Alexander Dupre while he was institutionalized. Sunny beach lapped by the waves of a gentle sea. Cheerful pastoral scene. Warm decoration in his room suggests a great deal of sensitivity to patients' moral needs. An interesting assessment. Mob walls. A man wearing a worn-out military uniform, lost in God's mystical thoughts. Hello. A variety of old-fashioned landscapes are portraying nature as tame and welcoming. Give me the lens. How about that? Who are you? Good morning. I'm a psychiatrist, Dr. Wakefield. Quite an impressive institution you have here. Can I ask for your assistance? I'm looking for a former patient of this institution. His name is Dupre. I'm sorry, sir, I've never heard that name before. The asylum is quite big, but I can't help noticing there aren't many patients around. Well, apart from those in the isolation ward, it's true that there are not many patients at present. But there are even fewer of us caretakers now. We're only 3 for the whole hospital. And for what I've been told, in the old times, the income was enough to provide for everything we needed: a complete staff, proper accommodation for the patients, and the best doctors. But as the newer, bigger regional asylums were built, the Crown's support was gradually withdrawn from East Hill. Soon everyone started leaving, and this is what remains. Maybe one of your senior colleagues could know something about this former patient. Well, you could ask Miss Riswell in the entrance hall. She's been here for years, maybe too long. You know, we caretakers live here with the patients. We're not allowed to leave the asylum's premises. Life can get you if you don't take proper care. I try to keep as much distance as possible from the lunatics. I'll leave you with your work. We saw this a little bit in Girl Interrupted, where they did a study of a college girl who was taken advantage by her teacher, and the suburbs, you being the suburbs, her parents decided to side with the teacher and had her institutionalized. She met a number of people who had actual problems, from incest to a clear neurological disorder on the part played by Angelina Jolie, where you had a mix of people who were actually insane put together with people who were perfectly sane. Their parents just didn't agree with what they did, or whoever was in control of their health and well-being, honestly. She was underage, so it was a little bit different. Good morning, madame. My name is Wakefield. I'm looking for a former patient of this institution. The rumbling. She doesn't seem to have noticed me. Is that the same lady in the opening scene? Madame, if I may persist, have you been living here for long? Looking for a former patient of his hospital, an eyeless gaze. Looking for a man named Alexander Dupre. That is not that odd. I have my bachelor's in psychology and philosophy, so the study of human thought and study of human behavior. What a strong reaction upon hearing Mr. Dupre's name. She must have at least met him. How can I get her to talk to me? Miss Coney is very upset. Please do not distress her further. That's interesting. Thought that only this window is shuttered. The curtain casts a mottled shadow over this corner. It looks like the lady from the original. Excuse me, sir, I couldn't help but notice your uniform. We're in the army. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to a coward. You don't want to talk to a coward such as myself. Yeah, like I said, with pharmacological advances, you can finally, you know, like, address neurochemical imbalances, which cause a lot of the perception. You can change the perception of reality. Like, for instance, for someone who's depressed very, very easily, and it's not quite as painfully strong as the original Xanax and Prozac, and I mean, not that if you're having a panic attack and so on, you know, take as prescribed. You know, these were such strong drugs that they handed you after drop that it called it into question. Good morning, boy, will give me a newspaper. Yes, sir, it's a sixpence. I'm afraid I don't have a sixpence. Can you make change for a shilling? Sorry, I can't, sir. You know where to find me when you have the coins. What can you tell me about this building? The sound. I've never been inside, and I hope I never will. It's full of crazies, you know. Have you seen anything unusual? No, but maybe if you got a newspaper. Newsies are intrepid. They do have good gossip in Europe. So. Also, the bigger cities of America. I wouldn't turn now on gossip from a newsboy in New York City or Chicago. So I can't get into the archives. What is this? Bookshelf. These books are not volumes of psychiatry or medical science, but old serial novels for the patients. So there were more like halfway homes. Portrait for a severe-looking man, most probably the founder of the institute. We just kind of fell by the wayside. A serene, bucolic landscape of gentle colors. The difference being that, especially if a church acknowledges the need for that, and like I said, some of the families in discussion, as critical as I might naturally be at this, because we do very much emphasize the separation of church and state, and then also, you know, I don't want to say the upper class, because they definitely, we have a role to play in society that nobody else does, which is to socialize internationally. You know, outside of a college, a very safe college campus setting, you won't find the truth. Double to full village setting, which were affected by crime poorly, and you know the Bobbies are a part of society there, and so on. Also in cities, especially if they have boroughs, a glass jar full of transparent liquid that may or may not be water is a coin resting there. I get that. But where they need an explanation and there just isn't one, you know, there's unsolvable crime and so on. There's just nothing you can do about it. That they used back in the day, they used fairy tales and blamed magic. In modern times, obviously. Where you need that explanation, which is ridiculous. It's for the other person's health and well-being. Not even really a safety issue for the police, so much as one that's a lack of education. It just doesn't make any sense. Is this yours, friend? Rather not bother him with trivial matters. Half a shilling, that is 6 pence. Okay, well, let's rock and roll. And so much is now explainable through the fact that neurochemical imbalance causes a change in perception. It's not that, at extreme ends, like with psychopathy and stuff, you do genuinely have a hard time controlling yourself, but a big part of that is paranoia, just interpreting colors and signals and signs together. Are those newspapers? Thank you, sir. Yeah, tell me the facts. We got the deeds. Let's get the deeds. About the asylum. Alright, there's always voices coming from place at night, crying, singing, the inhabitants cursing like damn souls as usual. But this night was different. It was all silent, I tell you, not a single noise in the whole street. We looked at the madhouse and saw all the windows black, no lights. Everybody asleep in that place? Now that's strange. Then I heard it. It was a scream like no other I ever heard. Not of a man or woman, but of devil from hell. Very curious indeed. Thank you for telling me. That's normal. Grist. Grist grinds wheat down, grain down into wheat, or oats into, this thing. Oat flour. Here you go, friend. Hold on. You can't have that just yet. Please illustrate in the London news. First headline is about a grim case. Scotland Yard keeps silence about an ambassador turkey found dead last Saturday under mysterious circumstances. Our sources suspect he may have been murdered. Sea monster found in St. Louis. Remains of the serpent and beekeeper found on the beach early yesterday morning. It's suspected they come from a seaside museum in Spain. It was tried a month ago by sea waves during a terrifying storm. There's another drawing advertising operative in Port Bush. I find it unlikely that that's genuine. I saw a reproduction of the original news from the Nose of New York, upstate New York, and as far back as the 1800s, they had very well thought out and well researched headlines. But thank you, Mindy, how thoughtful you are. I'm not thoughtful at all, man. Appreciate you think so. Carelessness? Who knows? Does she just not care? The hospital archive where record of each patient must be stored. If Mr. DeGray was really committed to Eddie still, his file should be here somewhere. For a long time since the desk was last used, it's covered in discarded papers and pens with a noticeable layer of dust. Portrait of a restrained patient surrounded by caretakers and a doctor. Like I said, there's a lot of horror to an American when you deal with the European side of it. Simply because all of this is so acceptable and we're so educational bent. For the longest time, one of the insurance companies had as a symbol a snake crawling up the cross as well as a blue shield, which are very strongly representational of. Doors are locked. I have a key. It doesn't seem to want to go to anywhere. Metal lockers, small senses, the personal effects probably sent in by the patient's families were deemed unsafe for the caretakers bundled with a stack of thick sheets of paper carelessly bound together bearing drawings and paintings of a troubled mind. Watercolor paintings of drawings of different subjects, a tree, a vase with flowers, something that could be a portrait. The colors are dispersed, the shapes broken, decomposed, and marked in a row with bright flecks. The cabinet contains many documents detailing the treatment of patients from 2 decades ago to the last year. His files right here, Dupree Alexander, all the files are missing. It's as if they've been torn out. Only a little piece of paper remains with an address written on it. Hall Street 26. Would that be where Alexander Dupree lived before he was committed to this hospital? Hall Street. I should follow this new lead and see if it takes me somewhere useful. So it's not so much that you get better, as that you provide your caregiver with an excuse that you're there in European mythos, in their in society, honestly. So as the lady in the foyer said, that someone became religious and went with his life in that manner, and so on, where he quote-unquote paid the bills. But my goodness, how quickly things change in the outside world. He essentially paid the bills by telling society that he was reformed. And then, for instance, in Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz, that doesn't happen, and the young girl remains in her fantasy world, and it turns out to be to her detriment. I recognize in real life I would never return these crimes to the patient, because that could set them off. They could have been seized for a reason. Great wonder they're back. Someday they'll understand light and shape as I understand them. Thank you, friend. If you want, take these cardboard sheets. Thanks to you, I have no more need of them. If you do actually get it, when you go through psychology, they do run you through the whole gamut where you have to take all of the INTJs and all of that. If you do get a degree in psychiatry, then you do actually have to get yourself evaluated. So they make you go through, in America, literally everything that any patient would go through. To give you an understanding of the fact that, you're not God. All doctors have God complex. I have 5 in my family. I'm looking for number 26. Number 26. This is the place I was looking for, but the door is bricked over. I must find another way to get in. Ruins of an old chapel, apparently destroyed by fire. Messy wooden planks and remains of benches and chairs. So that, hold on. This was a religious place. An improvised altar covered in candles. Wooden cross remains almost intact. Yet to the ambient noise, it's really creepy. Evil nun has nothing on this. There's someone on their knees praying, her face is covered by a hood. Alright, so I'm gonna stop here. I'm Aunt Ginger, this is what to play next. We're exploring season 2 of Glass Door, where we're tracing down the door to another world and trying to see what happened, and then also investigating this mythos in Europe. They send their kids to boarding school in Scotland, which is a whole other country. Same island, but a whole other country. They ignore Wales' existence completely, which is also another country, which is right there. They treat drugs differently, where recreational drug use is never mentioned in the upper class. The fact that it was mentioned at all recently is a revelation and essentially an exit for, an American who wound up over there. So that's gonna be in the news for some time, at least as far as gossip goes. That's no shock. Gossip of the English-speaking nation from Europe makes its way here a whole lot. Nobody else speaks English over there, so that's the one that we listen to. Obviously, some of us go to France and Spain and so on and so on. Anyways, I'm Aunt Ginger. This is what to play next. As far as game theory goes, this is a fascinating case study. Feel free to drop a comment in the comments below. I'd love to talk to you about it. Hit the like, hit subscribe. We find our games awesome in gaming, so if you're looking for a mind-bending thriller, this pushes every American horror button on the face of the planet. So 2 thumbs up to the developers for that one. Phoenix is pretty good about this sort of weird, bent. They do use a lot of foreign input, I've noticed, at least as far as drawing from a wide variety of ethnicities in their developers. So thank you for coming along for the ride. We'll see you in the next video, and as always, much love.